Hello, welcome to the Road to Global IGL. These videos are going to be mainly for IGLs because they're going to be quite involved and it's not necessarily all stuff that all the team members need to do or implement, but it's definitely something important that the IGL should do, and sometimes it's a good idea to gain a bit of an understanding for what an IGL is doing so that you can better accommodate them and better understand how the team's functioning. We're going to go over a few things, mainly about how to play maps and how to manage your teams quite well and how to call effectively. The first three videos are going to be on approaching a new map as a team. This is going to consist of three videos. The first one is going to be finding your map philosophy. The second one, forming a default, and the third one, developing protocols and developing positive feedback loops for your protocols, which basically means that you're able to improve them when things go wrong, and even when they don't, just so that things can go better. So, a philosophy, your map philosophy, this is the word I'm going to use for it. It's basically your understanding of how a map should be played. It's going to be the basis of how you approach the map. So all your strategies and protocols should really be able to fit alongside this philosophy. Generally, it's going to be based off some things like what you think works well on the map, like how to exec, what you need to exec, map control, pacing, etc., etc. And you really want to make it simple to start off with. It's just going to be a basis of something to go off, because the more complicated you make it, the more likely it is to be flawed in some way. If you can keep to some simple steps that you know are going to work for your given map, then even though it might be quite a basic way to approach it to begin with, it's going to be more sound than trying to jump in at the deep end with something that's relatively complicated and potentially you don't really understand all the nuances of. I'm going to go now into an example of a philosophy. This is going to be a simple philosophy you can use on Overpass, and it's going to be based off a few logical steps. This is something that I've used in the past and has been relatively successful until I built on it. Obviously, better teams will be more difficult to deal with simple ideas, but when you can make your ideas more nuanced, built off these simple ideas, then you should be able to match up against anyone. So, I'm going to introduce a set of logical things that are opinions that I have about Overpass, which I think are pretty true in the general case. And off that, I'm going to build the philosophy. So, first thing is one. To hit sites effectively on Overpass, you need to be able to smoke off rotation points. This is because the rotations from A to B are so fast that a player on a site can get to heaven in about 3 seconds, and if you throw util or if you come up monster, he'll be in heaven before you've gotten into water, essentially, if he's fast rotating. If you can smoke this off, then the rotation time is going to be so much longer that you'll be able to hit the sites more effectively. This is the same thing with A. If they're in heaven, a heaven player can come to dumpster and shoot you, and also these two angles of dumpster and truck make it very difficult to get into a site because they can come up and hit you or shoot at you while you're trying to get into the site as T's. So that means we need to smoke it off. To smoke it off, we need to have some control already. We need to have control of either toilets or short water, because these are the only two places you can smoke them off from. We also want to say, so we need to execute. To execute, we need this control. That means that in any given round, we want to really be getting one or two of these controls so that we can either execute and successfully win, or threaten the execute and increase our chances of winning. But for this philosophy, it'll just be we want to execute, and then from execute, we want to finish. The philosophy's not very filled out. There's definitely a lot of moving parts and a lot of things to consider, like late round pushes and what if they aggress certain spots and how to hold on to map control, and like what players should be doing at certain times. But the main idea is you want to make sure that by the end of the round you're getting this, by 30 seconds left at least, and then you're able to hit with all your players together in one of these two zones. So you kind of want to trial test these philosophies, as you'll be encountering all these problems when you're telling your players you need to play this certain way, and they might not appreciate, getting shot in the back all the time because you haven't fully planned out how you want to hold con in this play, or like you're committing too many players to exec, so no one's clearing front toilets, or maybe you're not dealing with long enough. But after enough time, you should be able to iron out all these problems. The thing is, you really want to talk to your teammates and explain this is the process that you're going through. during that point so that they don't get frustrated about how poorly things are going, and you can explain to them that this is really a long-term goal and it may be rough at first, but the aim is for that long-term improvement. Your philosophy is going to be what you fall back on when things are hard in the game. You cannot doubt it during a game where your calling is going to fall apart. You won't be able to consistently call anything. It will just be complete shambles. You need to work on it. Because of this, you need to make sure that it is as infallible as possible, because you won't be able to change it. You can't change it during a game, because then you'll be directionless, and the direction that you go in is the direction of your philosophy. So you want to make sure that direction is as good as possible. That means you want to put in hours outside the server just thinking about it and testing it out and thinking critically on the games that you've had. I like to watch demos of our teams and look at problems in our defaults and seeing what goes wrong when we lose rounds on T side. And then when you've worked on it that much outside the game, you're going to be as confident as possible that you're basing your in-game calling off a true understanding that works practically. And also, it will improve what's going on. So you'll be more confident, your calls will be better, and hence you'll be able to win more rounds, because on average, good calls mean you're winning the round. Okay, that's pretty much it. We'll get on to the next part of the next video in a little bit. Yeah, peace out.